Howdy everyone. Been on the road now for just over 3 months, so I thought I might take the time to do a little bit of a review and a bit of a recap on the Ford Ranger. Maybe just some real world sort of towing figures and stuff that we've done to the car just to get ready for the trip, and I thought if anyone else is maybe looking at the new Ranger, I can go through a few things and show you what we did, and yeah, might help you make up your mind whether you get one or not. So firstly, it's the 23.5 Sport. You won't go through all the details. It's a V6. Anyone that's looking at them sort of knows what they're capable of doing. So what we did was first thing I did was the suspension. So I got the 2-inch lift through Ironman with the Foam Cell Pro, just to lift it up a little bit, and it's awesome. I think it drives really well. So with the suspension, actually, while we're on the suspension, so I can do the GVM upgrade with the engineer, but it's like $1,500 for them to sign a piece of paper to say that I can do it, but I don't really need it. But if we need to do it, I can do it. So I just got to take it back to them and get them to sign it off. So I also did airbags, just to stiffen the back up a little bit. It's not to help with the weight or anything like that. I just found that just stopped a little bit of porpoising with the van on it, and it's awesome. So I run them at 25 psi, and it just sits beautifully. The car sits level, sits nice and flat. Safari snorkel, braid bar, Ironman. It's got the built-in light. I did the 12,000 pound winch just on the in case that we were going to need it. We haven't used it yet, so I don't know. I'd rather have it and not use it than not be able to go somewhere and regret not having it. Some of the things I love about the raid bar and why I chose it, I like the sleek look. I didn't want the hoops. I didn't want anything on top of it or anything like that. It also comes with 2 5-ton recovery points and a 4mm thick bash plate underneath. So there were other ones that I looked at that didn't come with those other things and are still sort of the same price. So I thought it was a bonus that they were there, but and it's still, I forgot, yeah, it also has the points there for the sensors, for the parking sensors and everything like that. So, and it's really well designed. Like, so that's for the winch. It's a Bluetooth capability for the winch if you've got to use that, and everything's hidden really well. It looks really sleek, and I've seen a few now. There's a fair few Rangers running around with them, and they I think they're the best bar out there. They look awesome. Wheels and tyres. These are off a 22 Raptor, standard. BF Goodrich. What are these? 285 7017s. The only thing I had to do to make them fit is, for some reason, they have a weight on the inside of the tyre or inside of the rim which hits the brake caliper. So you've got to get that off and then have it balanced. But it was easy, didn't really take much. What else did we do? So Rhino rack, the flat rack. We'll do that. So the flat rack, just the flat rack, solar panel on here for the second battery, and the King's 270 awning. Things held up brilliantly. Even did the gib in it. Everyone complains about Kings and says that they're not real good, but I haven't had a drum with it so far. It's been pretty good. Max liner canopy. Went for the two-tone, the Venture. I think it's awesome. I love it. Opens up. So in the back, I did the video. Got our second battery, which is running the fridge. Set of drawers, and we bought the fridge cover from King's as well, but it was way too big, so I cut it down the middle. You can probably see here, got the grinder, cut it down, and just re-screwed it to fit, so it looks better, fits better. Stone Stomper, did a video on that one. That's been awesome. We did the gib, put the Stone Stomper up, and no damage to the van, no damage to the car. It's awesome. So about 2.8 ton loaded, towing. So inside the car, safety Dave camera. I just saw on a page the other day, or actually it was on the Ranger page, that the 24.5 model or 24 model now has a coaxial cable or whatever that comes into the footwell, and it has a split screen on the actual screen now. You don't need that monitor, which would be awesome, because that does a good job, but it's a pain in the neck. Like, I hate it. I hate looking at it. I've got the tire pressure gauge monitors, the Oricom one that sits in there. So they're alright. I haven't had any dramas with it, except just today we're coming into Kakadu and we're about 2 k's out from the camp spot, and the left 2 sensors went off and they just started like beeping, and like as if I'd blown out 2 tires. And I knew I hadn't, because the van wasn't doing anything, but I pulled over and had a look and everything was fine. So it must have lost connection with the Bluetooth and said it had no tires. So, but you know, they're fine, nothing's really happening. So it was pretty good. I think one thing that you need if you're going to do a trip is get some decent car mats, eh? We've got the molded ones, and I've probably taken out 10 kilos of dirt and sand and rocks and just crap. So get yourself a good set of covers. So I might just switch over to the phone, because I find the GoPro on this screen, it just has red and blue lines and it's a little bit crazy. I was just going to show you the towing and stuff that we've done. Okay, so we're currently at 35,000. We started this trip at 16. So we've nearly done 20,000 Ks. So up here where it says 9,048, this seems to reset itself at 10,000 Ks. So I've had this going for the whole trip. So we've actually done 19,048 and a combined towing litres per 100 of 19. So obviously that's with and without the van. And we've been driving for 334 hours. So look, 19 I don't think's too bad. There's other people on pages saying that they're towing a 3-ton van or whatever and they're getting like 14 or 15, but look, I honestly don't know how they're doing that. That's crazy. So all right, so you saw those figures. So 20,000 Ks, 19 per 100. That's with, you know, the Raptor wheels on it. I've got the bar, the lift, the stuff on the roof. The van's about 2.8 ton, so we're just under our GCM combined weight, so we're just under. So, and that obviously fluctuates depending how much water's in the tank, like, and fuel in the car and all that sort of stuff, and how much food's in the van and in the back fridge. So it can go up and down. So I just thought we'd go through a couple of things. We've had the car now probably about, I don't know, 7 months, maybe 8 months. We bought it just before the trip. And a few of the things that really annoy me about this car, it's like, don't get me wrong, I love the car. I think it's awesome. It's one of the best cars that we've had, and I've had lots of them. But for such a new car to have all these safety features and some of the crap that it has, like this morning we'd parked the car last night. We hadn't driven it for about 14 hours or whatever by the time we got in the car. Drove the car for 10 minutes and the fatigue warning comes up and says, oh, you need to have a rest and you got to do this now, and then so you just press OK and you get rid of it, and then 2 minutes later it comes up in red and yells at you that you got to stop the car, and you're just like, it's just stupid. You don't recognize that the car's been off for the last 12 hours and you got to do it. So that's a bit stupid. When you got the lane assist on this thing, I turn it off all the time. It is the stupidest system that I've ever had a car with. It wants to drag you into the middle of the road. I don't use it when I'm towing at all. I turn it off straight away because you want to give yourself a little bit of room when you've got the van on. So I try and move over to the left of the lane when either cars or trucks or motorbikes or something coming the other way. So I just try and create space. But the thing just wants to jam you back into the middle of the road and you feel like you're going to run head on into them. So turn that off straight away. That is just stupid, that thing. So yeah, never use that. And then while that thing's on, while that lane assist is on, you'll be driving down the highway and it tells you to go put the hand on the wheels. Like you're holding the wheel and you're actually steering, but it keeps throwing up all these warnings. Like it's a stupid system. So just turn it off. If it's off, you don't have that worry of all the warnings coming on. One of the other things that I found when I tow the van, cruise control, some people don't use it. I don't know why they don't. I love it. I think this car is great in cruise control, but with the adaptive cruise control, when you have it so it can read the signs, for some reason we'll be driving along in an 80 zone and there'll be nothing around, and then it just goes up to 110 and the car just surges and takes off, and then there's a little sign on the dash that tells you the speed, but it hasn't changed the speed zone. So there's something there that's wrong with the camera, that it's picking up things. I don't know whether it's picking up through Google Maps or whatever, but it shouldn't. That's annoying thing. That really annoys me, that, because I don't know whether I'm actually in that speed zone or not, and it makes it hard because you're going to get a speeding ticket. So what else does it do? So I have it in eco. When I tow, I don't have a drama. I found, like, doing the 20,000 Ks in the 3.5 months we've been on the road, I've tried every scenario. I've done it in tow mode at 100, tow mode at 90. I've done it at normal at 90 and 100. I've done it in eco, and I find that eco at about 95 seems to use the least amount of fuel, because when you got it in tow mode and tow mode and normal, if you're sitting at 90, it wants to stay between 8th and 9th gear, and it won't go to 10th to bring the revs down. I don't know why it just does that. Where in eco, you get it to 93, so anything above 90 will go into 10th gear, and then obviously brings the revs down and just cruises along. So I found that anywhere about 95 in eco, and it brings it down. And I think when you're doing 20,000 Ks, you know, try and save a little bit of fuel where you can, and you don't want to be smashing it all up. So that seems to work well. So yeah, as I was saying, when I get into eco mode, I like to leave it in that and then drive. But when I've turned it off and you get back in the next day, it goes back to normal. So it doesn't stay in eco mode, and it doesn't stay in 2 auto, it doesn't stay whatever, it just reverts back to factory settings. And you got to, on the knob, so down here, you've got to then switch it back into eco and get it back to where you wanted it. So that's a bit of a pain in the ass. It should just stay there and just leave it as it is. So I don't know, I think that's something that Ford might be able to sort of update and get it sorted. What else? The CarPlay. So I've got an iPhone. You'll be sitting there, you'll be driving, it's all working well, you get out, you turn the car off, you come back in a minute or two later, and then it won't connect. So for some reason you got to stop the car or turn the phone off, or you got to do something. Like, it's just a pain in the ass, some of the things it does. And then the other thing is, oh, that screen's, sorry, you're not gonna be able to see that, but when you get in, it comes up, you got to select a trailer. Even if you don't have a trailer connected, it'll tell you, you know, there's an active trailer, blah blah blah, you got to do all this sort of stuff. It should pick that up by the pin. It should already have it on there. It shouldn't ask you whether you want to go and do the trailer or not. Like, but you know, they're just a couple of the frustrating things that it really annoys me about this car. But I don't know. Okay, so they're the annoying things, and you should always finish on positives. All right, so we'll go through the things that
that I like about the car. I love the way it handles. It even from factory, the suspension and the tires, it was really nice car. Like, it was great to drive. It was just like driving a sedan. You didn't feel like you're in a big labor intensive truck. I had, before this one, we had a Colorado LTZ 2019 model, but it was a manual, and like, it was nice to drive too, but just changing gears, it was slow. And so to get into this one, V6 10-speed auto, it drives brilliantly. Like, it's such a nice car to drive, and it's got so much power when you need it. When you don't have the car, when you don't have the van on, this thing's unbelievable. It just drives like a normal car. Like, you wouldn't know that you're in a 2.5 or whatever ton truck, not truck, but a ute, designed to tow stuff. Like, it is really good. I like the steering wheel. I think the steering wheel is, it's just comfortable. Like, it's a good size. Everything on it is easy to manipulate and use. So you've got your, these are your cruise control functions, and that's your lane assist that I said. Turn that off, that is crap. The radar cruise control, which is really good. You can limit how far you want to sort of sit behind a car, which is awesome. And I find too, if I'm not using the cruise control, like, the limit is good. So that way you stay at that sort of 60 up, that sort of 95 sort of k's an hour, and just keep that sort of constant speed. So you're not sort of talking to the wife and the kids, and then before you know it, you're doing 75, and you're like, oh damn it, I'm holding up traffic, and you've got to sort of, get back up to speed again. So yeah, I really like how the car actually drives. Like, yeah, it's really good. So the seats, we got the Sport, so it's got the leather. That's basically was one of our requirements. We looked at the Wild Track. We were going to go the Wild Track, but it had the sailplane and the roller shutter and everything on the back, which I think was another $4.5 grand almost. And I was going to take it off anyway and have to sell it so I could get the Canopy. So apart from the screen size, and I think the Wild Track's got a little lift up sort of storage here. It's pretty much not much difference. A little bit of stitching in the seats, but yeah, it wasn't much different when we drove that. As I said before, the power in this thing, the engine and the driveline is just excellent. Like, the gear changes are just flawless. It doesn't seem to have any sort of dramas picking the gear or where it should be sitting, and like, I love it. It's such a nice car to drive. It's comfortable. The little things that they've done, so we've got with the switches up here. So this switch which is on is our light bar in the bull bar, and then switch 4, you might not hear that, but that's our compressor. I've got an ARB twin compressor in the tub. I'll show you that in a second, because I forgot about that when I was at the back of the car. So that just turns the compressor on and off, and you can wire other lights and stuff up to there. I just haven't found anything really to put in yet that I can sort of hook it up to. I want to find things because I reckon it'd be cool to have stuff. Yeah, so the interior is really nice. I like it. I think maybe it'd be nicer with a darker sort of headrest. I think we don't have any dramas. Our kids are getting a little bit older now, but I know I've had lighter headrest before, and somehow crap gets on the roof. I don't know what kids do, but yeah, the kids have got plenty of room in the back there. So yeah, I don't know. As you can see from the driving position, like, the seats sit up really well, so you can that's sort of eye level with me. And the mirrors are quite big too, so they're a good sized mirror for this car, which is pretty good. And another little thing they do is they have a little USB thing here for your dash cam. That's awesome. Like, if you don't have it wired in, hardwired into the car, now I can't get it back in, there we go. Saves you running cords down to lighter sockets and stuff like that. One of the things that I say you must have is a CB, two-way radio. So we had the Oricom, we already had this from our last car, the Colorado, and it is awesome. Like, people been a few wide loads coming through some really sort of skinny roads and stuff like that, and you have the pilot vehicle come through and you have a chat to them, find out how wide it is, and just, you know, people, other caravanners that want to come around you, because I don't care if, you know, these people in I don't know, I'm not going to generalize it, but Dodge Rams, they just want to do 120 everywhere, so they're happy to round you up. Good on them. Like, they go. One of the other things that I love about this thing is just the look of it, the shape. I think they've done a great job. Looks friggin' awesome. Arguably, I think, not just because I've got one, but I think it's the best looking ute on the market in this range, like this size. Like, I know those Chevy utes look bloody awesome too, but that's a different market again. So I'll quickly show you. So this is the Venture Canopy. You can lock it. It's got a lock here, but it's got these buttons. So this is the left window, the right window, and the center window, and then you can double click your key, which opens up, but that only does the center one. Then you just open your left. All works. Junk in here. So we've got our ARB twin compressor. Used this a few times, which is really good. Just sits in the side there, and that's actually mounted inside the quarter panel there. Actually sits in about here. Yeah, it's quite good. So this is for the compressor. I've got two of them because this one actually broke. It wasn't displaying the correct pressures. So I went into ARB in Darwin, had a bit of a chat to them and showed them, and they tested it and they said, yep, it's no good. So they gave me a new one. So, yeah. Awesome. So that inflates and deflates. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that was about, I think installed it was about $1,200 to get the compressor done. But I don't know, some things I think just pay for, get it done, and have it in there. Whilst on the subject of ARB, I forgot the very first thing we did was the 140 litre tank. So that was the very first thing I did, knowing that we're going to do this trip. We did the tank upgrade, so that gives us pretty much double what we had. So as I said at the start, it's going to do like a real world cost to get everything done, and you know, fuel and stuff like that. So at Ironman, so for the bar, the winch, the suspension, they also did, so I did the canopy through them because they were a stockist for the canopy, and I did the Rhino rack bar, and I did the snorkel. I think we spent about 16 grand getting that done. So yeah, so on top of the car, I think, I can't remember what the car was, it was like 72 or 73, I think. So yeah, so then an extra 16 to do all the other stuff. And then I think I picked up the wheels off Marketplace. No, I picked up the wheels, my son picked the wheels up for me, $1,200. What else did we get? Oh, I found a spare Raptor wheel for underneath because I didn't want an odd one. I picked that one up Marketplace for like $250, so it cost me $1,450 for wheels and tires, which I thought was pretty good. I was happy with that, and I like these wheels, they look cool. So what else did we do? I think the canopy, as I said, that's included in like the 16 grand, but I think the canopy itself was about five grand, I think, for the Max Liner canopy installed. But yeah, whatever. Stone Stomper,
they're pretty generic off their website. I think they're about $800 or something to get them made. You send them the measurements. All right, hopefully some stuff there's been answered, or if you want to know anything, if you've got any questions, yeah, I'm happy to answer anything. If you yeah, just shoot them down below in the comment section, and we'll get back to you.